Hey there everyone, and welcome to Bill's Retro Gaming Show. On today's video, we are going to be looking at some retro gaming news that's happened in the past week. We've got a few pieces from Nintendo, we've got something from Sega, and we've got some new stuff from iiRcade as well. But before we get into all of that, if this is your first time checking out the channel, or if for some crazy reason you've been watching a bunch of my videos and haven't done it yet, feel free to click that subscription button. Click the notification bell if you want to be notified every time I put up a new video. Give this one a thumbs up and leave a comment below if you want to be part of the conversation. So now let's dive in with the Nintendo Switch and a new game released for the N64 app on the Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pack. So earlier today, Nintendo released Pokemon Puzzle League for the Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pack as part of their N64 line. Now, this is interesting for a couple of reasons. Not so much the game itself, although it is a fun puzzle game. This was originally released, I believe, back in 2000 on the N64. But that's not what's so really exciting about this. What's really interesting about this is the fact that this is now the first game that they have released for the N64 on the Nintendo Switch expansion pack since the original lineup of games that was announced have all now been released. When the expansion pack was first announced, they released a list of about 16 games that they had planned to bring to the N64. And of course, there was a lot of speculation from people on, are those the only games we're going to get? Now, I think that would have been kind of crazy, to be honest with you. I don't think that anybody really should have expected that they were going to stop at 16 games, especially if you expect people to shell out $50 a year for this. But it is nice to see that they've now moved beyond that to new games. So this game was actually originally announced, I think about a week ago. They put up that video saying that it would be available today, July 15th, and sure enough, this morning I checked out my Switch and there it was, available to play. Now, like I said, it's a fun little puzzle game, but really the important thing here is that it is a new game beyond the original 16 that they said would be released. So now what does this mean going forward? Well, hopefully it means that we will continue to see new releases at least once a month like they've been doing, and that we can expect to see some different stuff. Now, whether or not we'll get another roadmap for games that they anticipate putting on the service, or that we'll just continue to get monthly releases and we won't know what they are until the month. It's very nice when they do something like this where they put it out a week ahead of time and we know to expect it, instead of just kind of stealth dropping something where we're not expecting it. But we'll just have to see what goes on from there. Like I said, hopefully they will at least continue their once a month schedule. It would be nice if it was more, but if they at least continue to do that, I think people will continue to be pleased with the service. Now, what games are going to be next? No idea. There's a lot they can choose from, so I guess we'll just have to see where it goes. Again, my money's on Conker's Fur Day, but I think I'm going to be disappointed and never going to get that one. So moving on to the next piece of Nintendo Switch news. Back when it was first released, I did a review for the House of the Dead remake on the Nintendo Switch. And while I enjoyed the game, I wasn't a big fan of the gyroscope controls. I thought it was fun. I thought if you played it with a pad or in handheld mode, it could be a lot of fun. But trying to play with the Joy-Con in gyroscope mode was just beyond frustrating, and I really didn't enjoy it at all. Well, as of right now, they have released a patch for the game. So if you own House of the Dead Remake, be sure to do the update on it. So some of the things that they mentioned in this update are translation fixes, added option to hide photo mode overlays, added voiceover in credits, fixed player not taking damage penalty from killing scientists when having invulnerability status. So they've tweaked and fixed a bunch of stuff, but the big one here is improved gyroscope. And I have to say that I did try this out, and I was pleasantly surprised at how much better the gyroscope controls were after this update. Now, are they perfect? No. Have they reached the level that they had with the Wii remote on the Wii? Still no. But it is infinitely better. It makes the game much more fun, much more playable after this update. So like I said, if you own House of the Dead Remake, be sure to do this update and check it out for yourself. If you've been holding off on purchasing it because you heard the controls weren't that great, maybe give it a shot, all right? Because I think it is much improved after this update. And finally, just one other piece of quick news involving Nintendo. I just saw this morning, and this is from Kotaku. It looks like Nintendo is looking to buy an animation studio. So if you're like me and you are a fan of Nintendo and you're a fan of anime, well, it looks like they are going to be combining forces. So it looks like Nintendo is looking to buy Dynamo Pictures, which is a CG animation and motion capture studio. Dynamo Pictures, based in Tokyo, has been around for 30 years, providing CG work and motion capture for games and anime. Recently worked on motion capture for Persona 5, Nier Replicant, and Death Stranding, while creating computer graphics for the likes of Ghost in the Shell, SAC 2045, which is a fun little show on Netflix if you've checked it out, and Studio Ghibli's Earwig and the Witch. So now what does this mean? Now we know that the Mario movie is going to be coming out. It's being done by a completely different studio. Could be that Nintendo is looking to bring some of that in-house to create their own anime and CG works. Maybe they plan on using this for future games. Not sure just yet, but I thought it was a piece of interesting news and I figured I'd throw it out there to you guys. I will have a link in the description below to this article from Kotaku. All right, next up, we've got some news from Sega, and this involves the Sega Mega Mini 2 that was announced a couple of weeks ago. I did do a video on this during the announcement, and at the time, it looked like it was going to be a Japanese-only release, but now we know that's not the case. So earlier this week, Sega put out a tweet saying that the Sega Genesis Mini 2 blasts its way to North America on October 27th. The Sega Genesis Mini 2 boasts even more power, over 50 classic games previously unreleased on the Genesis Mini, and includes Sega CD titles. Now, one of the cool things about this tweet is the picture that they have to go along with it. And as you can see here, the controller that looks to come with it is a 6-button controller. So I know a lot of people were very disappointed with the original Mini having a 3-button controller. So to see that this is going to include a 6-button one is definitely a welcome addition. So as of right now, we know that about half of the games have been announced for this. Somewhere in between 20 and 25 games have been announced for this, which leaves another half that we still don't know about. So now, will we find out what all the games are before the October 27th release date, or will we have to wait for the release to find out what the rest of them are? In addition, I think it's been speculated that the CD attachment for this, which is really just going to be cosmetic in the case of this because everything is built right into the main unit, may not be available in North America, or you may have to import it directly from Japan. We'll have to wait and see exactly what comes out and what's available on October 27th. We also don't know exactly what the price is going to be. So if you head on over to Amazon right now, you will see a listing for this, and it does say for sale in North America, Sega Genesis Mini 2, with a release date of October 27th. Now they have it listed at $102.38 with $21.99 delivery. So sorry, I guess there's no free Prime delivery on this one. Not sure if this is really an import that they're doing at this point. It does say ships from Amazon Japan, sold by Amazon Japan. So I'm guessing this is still considered a Japanese import at this point. But the point is that they are making it available in North America. And the fact that it's branded as a Genesis Mini and not a Mega Drive Mini does mean that this is a US version of this. Now, is it going to be $102? I don't know. This may just be the import price here. When we get closer to that release date, or maybe shortly after that release date, maybe there will be an official version of this that's not an import that will cost less. Maybe we'll see this show up in stores like Walmart and Best Buy. We'll just have to wait and see. But if you really want to pre-order it right now for $102, you can do so. I know there was a lot of speculation when the Mega Drive Mini 2 was first announced as to whether or not we would see a North American release, as everything was really focused on the Japanese market during that release. And apparently the original Genesis Mini did okay, but not spectacular, so there was definitely some doubt as to whether or not they would do a North American release. Now it looks like they have officially decided to do that. And again, the fact that this is branded as a Genesis Mini 2 and not a Mega Drive Mini 2 means it's more than just a Japanese import, that it is branded for North America, which again hopefully also means that all of the games on it have got English translation, even some of those that weren't here before. Or maybe we'll get a completely different list, and some of the games that were announced for it won't be on the North American version. Again, all we know is what we've been shown so far. We'll have to wait till it gets closer to the release date and see exactly what games are going to be available on the North American version. But hey, leave me a comment below and let me know, are you excited for the Genesis Mini 2, and do you plan on picking one up, especially if it gets released in stores or, you know, officially here, not as an import, at a better price. All right, I think $100 is a little expensive for this. That's just my personal opinion, hoping that if it does get released that it comes at a more reasonable price. And finally, we have some updates from iiRcade in the form of a new game drop and a couple more games that they have added online support for. So let's jump in and check them out right now. And iiRcade has added a new game to their system today, and this is Bearsus from ARF Game Studios. And yeah, I really have no words for this at all. Just none. Just look at it, take it in. There it is. Bearsus. It retails on their site right now for $5.99. Okay, moving on from whatever the heck that was, they have added online support for 3 more games on their system, and those games would be Teki-Paki, a puzzle game from Tauplan, Zero Wing, I should say horizontal shooter, also from Tauplan. Now, what's interesting about the release of that game having online support is that that game was also just recently added to the Genesis app for the Nintendo Switch. If you will remember, that is the infamous All Your Base Belongs to Us game that spawned a million memes. So now they've added online support for that game as well. And finally, from iRem is Gunforce, which is a side-scrolling run-and-gun type game. Looks kind of like a sci-fi Metal Slug type game. And all 3 are available on the iiRcade system. Teki-Paki and Zero Wing retail for $7.99. Gunforce is $9.99. So if you don't own them already, and again, you want to check them out because you want to try the online play for them, well, feel free. That's what the price is. All right, everyone, there you have it. That is the news that I have for today. So let me know in the comments what you think about all of this. What do you think about the new N64 game on the Nintendo Switch Online? What do you think it means for the Nintendo Switch expansion pack going forward? Did you purchase House of the Dead, and have you tried it since the update? If you haven't, give it a try and let me know what you think. Or if you've been holding on buying it, let me know if you pick it up and if you think that it plays well. I can't say better if you haven't tried it, but let me know if you think it plays well. Let me know if you're excited for that Genesis Mini 2 coming out. Do you plan on picking one up? Are you going to pre-order it, or are you going to wait and see if it comes at a, again, more reasonable price once the release actually happens in October? And finally, all the games on iRem. Does that Bearsus game have any interest to you at all? Like I said, I have no words. No words. And of course, the online games. Fantastic that they keep pushing that forward, that they keep adding new online playability to their games. Again, you got a puzzle game, you've got a shooter game, you got a run and gun game, so you've got a good mix of genres to try out. If you own these games, check them out online. If you don't own them and you want to pick them up, go right ahead and then play them online. All right, that's going to do it for this video. That is all that I have for you. Hope you guys have a great day. Again, leave your comments below. Don't forget to give this one a thumbs up, and I will see you on the next one. Have a great day.